Worst the worst, bitch.
So do you
want an interview or something?
Yeah, do you think that there's a ready and willing Nazi presence on campus, or what do you think?
You never know.
You never know?
You never know. But what is clear is that the capitalists are trying to prepare and sharpen their knives against the working class.
Yeah?
Yeah. What do you think about that? Like people like Trump and things like that, you know?
Well, I didn't vote for Trump myself.
No, I'm not saying you did, but
yeah, I didn't see him quite as qualified.
I don't think he's a fascist, but I think his populism, right?
Yeah.
Right-wing populism, which is very demagogic, is riling up the worst of the worst in society, and empowering people that they hate, they're racist, you know, and they are resuscitating again the same garbage of the 30s. I see that. I can tell you that my community and Latino, it's more and more people that they might don't call themselves Nazis, but their attitude to other races and people from other countries have get to the worst in the last 4 or 5 months.
So you think it's not quite fully fledged Nazis, but it's sort of like a dog whistle, so to speak. Like, so it's kind of like vague. It's like
Nazis. Look, Nazis are no like aliens or something like that.
Because they were defeated, but
always Nazis, right? After the Second World War, every so often you have small groups, right? Like white supremacists and whatever you have there. They are a problem, but they are not the problem. The problem is when they grow, when they are ledgers, normal people, right? That they have jobs, average Joes, working class like me or like you, that they are so frustrated with the political situation that they must start hearing them and say, instead of going through the political discourse, maybe what we should do is start breaking Latinos or immigrants' heads. That's the problem, and so what we want to do is to stop that. It's okay to have a debate, it's okay to have different ideas, but we are not going to let organized people try to use the political upset that it is right now for their own agenda, which is hating and physically exterminates people that look like me, right? So that's what it is. But no, it's not like there's a lot of Nazis marching up and down. I agree with you, they are not. But
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they are or not. I mean, if they were, that would be of concern to me.
Right.
So I see this, and I'm like,
you know how they get from 1 to 10 to 1,000? Because when they were 10, there was nobody like us saying no again. So that's what we're doing here. Before they go to a mass movement and we have to use all the measures, it's better to stop it at the beginning. Somebody, hopefully you guys can join us to say no again. We don't want Nazis, we don't want white supremacists, we don't want the politics of hate in this campus or any place. Do you?
Well, let me ask you a question. Like, have you seen anyone actually go around in Madison or anywhere else wearing a swastika?
I see swastikas in high schools in Madison. What do you think about that?
Really? That's screwed up, man.
Yeah. Do you see what's in the news? In Middleton, I have kids of my friends, Latinos kids, Mexican kids. They've been told in the high schools right now that don't even dream to be in this country in the next spring, that they are going to be deported. In the same fashion that the Nazis were attacked the Jews back in the 1930s. In the same fashion.
Okay.
So yes, I see that happening right now. Is that a Nazi movement? No, I don't see a lot of people sweating for Hitler, but they are so close that we have to stop it now.
So deportations are racist or white supremacists?
No, deportations no. The one thing is a legal process of deportation, another thing is when a 10 years old kid is telling another 10 years old kid, people that look like you are going to be eliminated from this country. That's no deportation. That's straight out hatred and racism. And I'm sure you are minimally, you love the human race and you love peace and you love progress. I'm sure you will be against that kind of sentiment, would you?
Well, I mean, like, the only evidence I've seen of school kids being racist is that one viral video people came out on YouTube in a middle school where the middle school kids are shouting build the wall. Apart from that, however, like I've throughout my whole experience, I've been to Catholic schools, I've been to public schools. I never saw anything even remotely like you're describing. But to your point about like you're concerned about like this being recruiting ground for like fascists, right? Fascists are coming to try and recruit people. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, what I'm suggesting is because the upset of capitalism, because the bankrupt of this society that we live in today, because millions and millions of workers all around the world feel betrayed because this system don't provide anymore, because we feel more poor than before, there is room, not in this campus, but in the whole country, for the worst ideas to take on again. That's what I'm saying. And what we need to do, this is not against Nazism, this is not against Nazis, this is against fascism. The idea that some people are so desperate right now because capitalism is to such a point, because the crisis of the system is so big, that people that are normal, loving people, perfect, honest people are considering today, to go to more radical ideas that include hatred, they include elimination of other races. And the problem is we are there. This is happening right now. The victory of Trump, it only shows that people are ready for almost anything. And what I'm saying is, most likely we need a change, but we don't need that change. So every effort that we can do to remind people that that's not the path that we want to take on, we should embrace it. I will hope you will embrace it with us, because we need to fight against ideas that put us back in 1937, 1939, 1941. We should stop fascism. We should stop anything that tell us that we have to hate our neighbor. Don't you agree with me?
Well, definitely I agree that like people in power have like historically used like racism to like sort of manipulate the poor masses, like what we saw in the civil rights movement. The reason I asked you before about whether or not you saw a Nazi swastika is because I've actually been to about the Madison Resistance March, right? That happened last January.
Sure.
I was there, and I've met some people there who've like openly identified as communists. Okay. And I actually encountered one person who was actually holding the symbol with like the hammer and the swastika.
I have it
Oh,
here.
you got one?
You want to see it?
Hammer. You said the hammer and swat. You mean the hammer and sickle?
Hammer and sickle. My bad.
I'm
Sorry.
a communist.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Like,
Tell me.
I hear this argument frequently that we need to prevent racists from having a platform so that it won't eventually carry out a genocide. Well, what if I said one day, I'm going to try and sabotage all these communist meetings because I'm worried that there will like be a preemptive like gulag installed or something.
Iron Curtain, or Great Leap Forward, or famine, or anything like that.
Well, you know what? And I will join you. Is there will be a movement that is self-identified as communist, and what they are professing is a totalitarian dictatorship based on oppressing most of society for the benefit of a small caste of bureaucracy. Believe me and many other communists will be with you sabotaging those events still, because in my opinion, that's not the communism I fight for. What I fight is for a society where most of us we decide what to do with what we produce. Well, what I find is that not only a small number of rich people can decide how many people die by the function of being greedy and getting so much money that 25,000 kids dies every day for lack of food, and then we pay farmers not to produce produce. That is the kind of communism I defend. Now, if you show me a communism that is defending the physical elimination of another race, I will be with you fighting against them, because racism is racism no matter what. Oppression is oppression no matter what, brother.
Like the Soviet Union was doing with Jewish people, right?
Like the Soviet Union excesses they have, especially during Stalinism, in the later years of the 20s and after in the 30s and 40s. Yes, of course. I'm a Trotskyist. I can tell you the Leon Trotsky, who was number 2 in the revolution in 1970, in 100 years now, 1917, he died to defend real communism and know the excesses and the crimes of Stalin and company.
Okay.
Yeah, but however, I wanted you to notice one thing. Fascism starts by the very idea that one race is superior to another and that the inferior race is not worth to exist. Communism, if you read Marx and Engels, because that's Marxism, You don't find that idea whatsoever. The only thing they say is that we have to eliminate the private property of the means of production. That's what it is. That's what communism is. So it's a big difference who some people they self-nominate themselves Marxist or not, or fascist or not, right? But the very idea itself, if we're talking about ideas, communism is not saying that we have to kill people. Fascism does. That's the problem.
Well, do you think there's ever been an example of a successful communist society throughout the 20th century?
At times, yeah. I think the first years of Russia was very successful. However, I can tell you, and thank you for the question because I hear that very often. Capitalism was established in Europe and the rest of the world the late 1700s, 1800s, even up to the beginning of the 1900s. There is this process, right, where feudalism is fading and capitalism very abruptly, actually, right? It's conquered all the spheres of society. However, the beginning of capitalism started in the 1300s. That's hence the name of bourgeoisie, right? From Burj, which is city in German, right? Did you ask back in the 1300s, do you think capitalism works? Do you see any society can be run by capital, or can be run by not having the king deciding everything? They will say, "Oh, you are dreaming. That they cannot happen because it didn't happen before." And yet today, that nobody doubts that capitalism is a system that established itself as a dominant system. So I would say something similar happened with communism. As a system, I think it has a chance to succeed. No, we didn't see it yet, but it's a process.
Okay, well, then what makes communism inherently better?
Well, because we believe that we shouldn't have classes, because every time you have a society with classes, one class is oppressing the next one. And when there is oppression, there is suffering and misery. So the very fundamental knowledge or concept of communism, and make it better, is that maybe we can all get together and produce for everybody and decide all of us together. And we do that every day, right? You say Kickstarter, you say Facebook, everything. Our natural instincts to work together, no against each other, no oppressing the next person. So in that way, I think communism is a wonderful thing. Now, let me tell you, now that you're so curious about it, right? I don't think communism will be the ultimate system. Eventually, it will be replaced for something else. But at least it won't be a class society. And without classes, brother, we have a more peaceful and better society. Don't you think?
Are you in favor of like eliminating private property?
The means of production is private property, yeah.
Okay, like, do you believe that private property in like certain contexts or something, like you're allowed to own a house, I'm allowed to own a house, I'm allowed to buy things, down the street.
That's
but
not a means of production.
I know,
Means
but
of production is a
I'm asking
factory,
though,
right?
are you completely against eliminating capitalism or just like not allowing? Because I'm trying to see the difference here, like legally and logically, what the difference is between, suppose I decide to run a business from my house, say, wouldn't that technically be a means of production?
Well, brother, if we nationalize or expropriate 8 people in the world, 8, we will automatically have access to 50% of the means of production. We don't need to nationalize your house and your small business. That's not the problem. What we need is the big elements of society, the big banks, the big manufacturing, the big distribution. Once we do that, we can do a lot of things with it, and we can solve problems like the healthcare system, right? Unemployment.
Okay. So you're talking about like a nationalized socialism kind of thing? Like nationalizing business and stuff?
Under workers' control, yeah.
Well, are you aware that Nazi translated actually refers to National Socialism?
No, under workers' control, brother. There's a big difference between a vertical organization of the nationalized industry and a horizontal based actually on the participatory democracy of the workers, taking ownership. This is about the society. It's not about, look, the problem with fascism is is this idealist way to see society where the very knowledge or the very powerful can design the rest of society. That's the problem. That's why fascism is so tempting for those kind of ideas, because they say we, whatever race, fill the blank, right? We are better, whatever religion, right? See, fascism is not the only theory that has something like this. What we're saying is the whole society should administrate the whole society. No one group against another. So it's very different. I don't think you can mix one with another. Otherwise, you will be saying that the efforts to nationalize the industry during the 40s in the United States to be successful in the Second World War is communism. And I don't think it was communism, but there was a big tendency to statalize most of the industry in the 40s, right? Don't you agree?
Well, I mean, yeah, I suppose they're like.
So statalize and
That's how
communism
the
to
whole.
different things.
That's part of the step toward like the whole military-industrial complex and stuff. And I would argue that the military-industrial complex has played a very negative role in our politics, particularly in the wars we've been involved in. So you and I probably would agree on that. My point is, though, is how do you make that distinction between like what is nationalized and like I gave the example of a house, but what about something a bit more subtle? Like should our government like nationalize, say, the 7-Eleven down the street over there kind of thing? Or
I think we should nationalize. We should nationalize any big factory, any big bank.
okay.
We're starting the event though, so I'm going to stop this interview.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Hey.
Subscribe, bitch.